Yeah. Yeah, Kenneth, everyone is interested to know your journey, first of all.
Okay, you'd like me to explain?
Yes, because everyone is curious, I would say you are the, you are the father of Vedic math today. So much of work you did in last 50 years. So everyone is very curious. I mean.
Well, I'm very glad to talk about it because it's been, as you say, 51 years that I've been studying Vedic maths. It all started in 1971. I used to give a lift to a lady to an evening class and take her back. And at the end of the course, she said, thank you very much. Would you like this book? And it was the Vedic maths book. So I was delighted. I was studying to be a maths teacher at the time at a London college. And I looked at this book and I was really amazed because it was a different kind of mathematics than I'd ever seen before. And I was very keenly interested in finding what mathematics is all about in detail from the very foundations. And there wasn't anybody who seemed to know. There were philosophers who'd looked into it and come up blank, like Bertrand Russell. They tried to establish mathematics on the basis of logic and failed, even after, 20 years in struggling, him and the other chap, Alfred North Whitehead. And here was this man who seemed like he knew mathematics. He knew it thoroughly. He could connect everything up. The book showed that mathematics all the topics are connected together. And his approach was also very inspiring and unified. And this is what I thought, this is mathematics. And I studied it carefully. I went through the book a couple of times. And I began to see that some of the methods could be extended in various ways. And they could be applied in other branches of mathematics. And I spent years while I was teaching classes and also studying the Vedic maths. And every time I looked at it, every area I looked into seemed to blossom under the Vedic maths approach. And I have since developed calculus and trigonometry, study of equations and astronomy, all kinds of advanced topics, as well as just the ordinary arithmetic that we're all familiar with. So I was delighted. I tried to interest people. I went along to, when I was doing an astronomy course at University College London, I went along to see the head of maths there, and I showed him the book. And he flicked through it. And he said, no, don't waste your time on this. And I could see straight away that there was no point trying to pursue that. He wasn't going to change his mind. He was fixed. There was no way he would change. So I had a similar thing with Imperial College. I went there and saw the maths department, spoke to a few professors there, but again, nothing. But I think things have changed now. That was back in 1980. So there's different views about life and philosophy and mathematics, all kinds of things you hear about. People are more open. So I think that it is the time now for Vedic maths to really blossom and people to realize that there's a different way of doing mathematics, that it's a creative subject, the way that all the topics are linked and the different kinds of approaches that children can use to solve a problem makes them more creative. It just does that. And that's what children love and what teachers want to inspire in their children, I'm sure. And so we have a wonderful range of topics, range of mathematics, which has been developed as Vedic mathematics. Just to go back to the history of it, I did, in the beginning, I was in the TM movement, Maharishi's Transcendental Meditation. And when Maharishi started talking about Vedic maths in 1984, or around that time, I got sort of interest from other branches of the TM movement who would invite me over. So I've been to various places in Europe, Denmark, Sweden, Holland. And then I was invited to Singapore and the United States and India. And I've given many courses and talks in the UK as well. And at some point I was asked to, why don't you write a book based on your talk, you know? And so that things just led on from one to another, and books and courses kind of come rattling off. And it was a delight, really. I really enjoyed my journey on Vedic maths, and I'm really delighted also that Math to Shine has taken this up, because now is the time. I really feel that now is the time that Vedic maths can spread around the world and make a huge difference in schools and to teaching. So that's basically my story. And if you've got any questions, anything specific you'd like to question me about or ask me to expand on, please say I'm glad to do that. That was very brief. So,
yeah. Anything from anybody? Or I have some interesting stories to narrate about Ken, because I have been associated with him for last almost 10 years. So, you know, okay, Ken, I will just take some liberty to extend it. Okay, I asked Ken sometime that, you know, all the people have studied Vedic math. And how can you extend Vedic math into the new dimension, like a vertically and crosswise formula, how you can take and apply it into calculus or trigonometry, you know, all the triples and all those things. And then I got an answer from Ken, which I still remember very vividly. Ken mentioned to me that, you know, when you study that book, you get subtle hints if you do it carefully. Okay, I mean, I just paid an attention to it, and later on, you know, I mean, it just skipped out of my head. When I was starting the course of our first teachers training course, I asked Ken, when shall we start it? We want to start in March. And, you know, Ken mentioned one thing, why don't we start from 14th of March? Because 14th of March is the birthday of Bharti Krishan Tirthiji. So that time, I realize the kind of respect and love Ken has for his guru, I mean, or his, you know, Bharti Krishan Tirthi. And just to narrate you one other story, Ken. You connected me to Kuldeep in Delhi, right? Okay. So I was talking to Kuldeep, and Kuldeep was talking about taking Vedic math to a Christian college. You know, it's a pretty close group, so I can share. So he was saying that, you know, they didn't want a Vedic word to be used in the offerings. And I think he would have got in touch with you. And he says, okay, you can use anything, but show the picture of Bharti Krishan Tirthiji, because he's the originator of the system. That time I realized the kind of respect you pay to him. And anybody who pay that respect to the teacher, naturally he will get the hints, not other people. That's what I was feeling. Yeah. Anyway, that's what the extension of Kenny's story on my side. Some of the things I mean, I learned from him. Yeah, that's that's all. Yeah.
Yes, I have learned a lot from Bharti. I'm sorry, I didn't mention his name. I should have mentioned his name right at the beginning, but because he has been an inspiration, and I've studied his life and teachings and everything as well, in order to try and understand more deeply what it is all about. And he is an incredible character, and reading about his life would be an inspiration to anyone. And you can do that also in the book itself that he wrote on mathematics. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but it slipped my mind.
Yeah.
So Rishikesh, want to say something? Mr. Jain?
Yes. Sanjeev, you want to ask something?
Yeah, you see, to me, first of all, Ken, you have been extremely inspirational. You know, your experience with math is equal to my age, so you can understand that you have really, you know, kind of done much more than what I have learned in life so far, only with Vedic math. So that is truly inspirational, and congratulations for it. Your passion is very visible, The question I have is what excited you? Can people generally hate math, and math is the last subject for many folks. And what was your ambition when you were a child, when you were reading this? So what was going on in your mind? Like, what would you want to become? What was your career plan? Because this is something I find it very fascinating that someone who is away from India reads this book and gets inspired and makes a mission to write books. So just your story when you were a child and what was happening when you were going through it.
Well, as a child, I never really knew what I wanted to do. People would ask me, I would be asked at school, what's your career going to be? We were all asked in our class, and people were saying, I want to do this and I want to do that, but I never knew what I wanted to do. But I did know that I wanted to do something useful for people. I knew that. And I thought of all kinds of things I could do. And then I eventually decided I was going to teach. And it gradually sort of crept up on me, I suppose, the fact that I was given that book answered a problem that I had for years and years, because I'd wanted to do something useful, and here was this answer, which I never realized until a couple of decades, at least after I had started studying Vedic maths, that it was the answer. I just was interested in this and fascinated by it. And I was sure that the mathematicians around the world, once they saw this book, would be inspired too and would take it up and realize what a gem it is. But it never happened. And it seemed like in the end, it was up to me to develop things. I just went on, and nobody wanted to, no professional mathematicians wanted to take it on. And as far as I know, they still don't. But one thing I would like to mention is the sutras, which Tirthaji says is the basis of mathematics. This is something which is of great interest. And I've been studying this for all these years. And it was only last year, after 50 years, that I understood what they are and how they are structured. And I've written a paper explaining it. And this is really an eye-opener, because it really shows you that the basis of mathematics is in your own mind. And it proves that mathematics and reasoning are basically the same thing, because these sutras describe ways of thinking, and they form a natural sequence of thoughts, thinking. And that's really something that's very important. And I hope that people will take this up and realize that this is very significant. And also not just as a philosophical, abstract thing, but for teaching. Children need to know how to use their mind. And the sutras can do that. They do explain it in steps and show the different structures in the mind. And this is another area that needs to be explored. I hope that answers your question.
No, thank you, Ken. I think, again, I would say that it's remarkable at that age for you to have, thought through it and taken the inspiration and the passion to go through it. Really commendable. We appreciate it, especially being an Indian. I really feel very good when I see someone who is using a ancient Indian scripture and using it for betterment of society, for applying it to the minds and solving problems. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just to extend some of the things, right? Ken wrote 23 books. One book is with a co-author. We don't have the copyright of that. Otherwise, 20 books copyright we have. 2 more books are with we should get the book, and it has been with somebody else, but the copyright is with Ken only. We should get that. He wrote 10 courses, extended Vedic math into calculus, trigonometry, and applied maths, astronomy, so many subjects. All the 10 courses videos will be more than 700, 800. We have put it in Math to Shine now. He's splitting it. These are long videos. We split it into, digestible sections. Apart from it, around 2007, 2008, Ken has produced something called Math 2020. for year 2020, and these were paper worksheets, which are, I think, more than 500, Ken?
Yes, well, 400, 20 times 20, 400.
Around 400 worksheets. That time, Ken was involved with one of the venture called Math Monkey as well, before that, right? Which was to set up a franchisee system for Vedic math by some Jews people from Miami in US.
That's right.
They could set up something. I mean, in around Singapore, around 10 countries, we have the system now. So he set up a game-based approach for Vedic math for them. They couldn't succeed much because of some financial difficulty. That's what I understand from Ken. Okay, so this is what we did. And if we are, I pray every day, Ken has, produced more than 500 videos for Math 2020. Somehow we lost it into, some transition, the person who was doing it. And we are likely to get it by month end if we get it. I mean, because the person who was dealing with, he somehow got the Alzheimer's disease, but his sister we are dealing currently to get those videos. If we get, all of a sudden, we will have the huge assets, which we can immediately link. All the Ken videos are already linked into the system. So in addition to it, in 1997 or 98, first Vedic math website was created by Ken, vedicmaths.org. Free resources. You search anything on internet today. You search something in a Vedic math book or Vedic mathematics, it comes in the top 3 without doing any SEO. And being the oldest website available, that resource we already have with us to promote ourselves. So this is the Ken's story. Actually, I've been very fortunate to be associated with Ken, because I have been associated with 2 people who has been pioneer in Vedic maths. One was my professor, Dr. Narendra Puri in IIT Roorkee. He was trying to promote Vedic math in India. And Ken and Dr. Puri has met each other as well in Europe. Unfortunately, Dr. Puri passed away last year in COVID. They used to roam in Europe in the Transcendental Meditation movement by Mahesh Yogi, right?